Time to round up the world's top stories from science and tech with CTV science and technology expert Dan Riskin. Happy Monday, Dan. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right, let's talk about McMaster's study. I'm a graduate of McMaster, but I wasn't studying this. It shows that teens who use cannabis are more than 11 times more likely to develop a psychiatric disorder compared to those who do not. I think we all kind of suspected something like this might be the case.
Yeah, this is a really sobering study. The data are quite compelling because these are Ontario kids in this study, right? So 11,000 Ontario youth between the ages of 12 and 24, and they just asked them, have you used cannabis in the last year? About a quarter of them said yes, 3/4 said no, and then they tracked their health records over the next 20 months or so to see how many of those kids ended up being diagnosed with a psychiatric disorder. And the risk is low for all kids, but it is higher when you're a kid who uses cannabis. And the risk factor is 11 times higher. So the kids that say, yes, I've used cannabis in the last year are 11.2 times more likely to be diagnosed with a psychiatric disorder in the next 20 months. And you don't see that increase for the older people in that cohort. So people between the ages of 20 and 24, not a big increase, nothing significant there. But for kids between 12 and 19, these data are very clear. Kids need to stay away from this stuff while their brains are developing. When you're an adult, it's one thing. But while the brain is growing, cannabis seems to be really a lot more dangerous than we realized. Wow,
that is incredibly sobering. And like you said, Dan, the fact that this is, based on Ontario kids as well, is even, it's really that much closer to home. I really appreciate you highlighting that one for us. Let's get a little lighter now. We're going to talk about AI and comedy. There have been a suggestion that, hey, AI could make it better, but some people laughed around that, but no one's laughing now.
Yeah, exactly. So this is from the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. They had some comedians, professional comedians who perform in front of a live audience. They just did a workshop with them, having them use these large language models like ChatGPT to write more material. And what they found is it's very good if you have a blank page and you need some ideas to get you started. It's very good if you've written a bunch of jokes and you want to put them together into a routine, but it's terrible at coming up with funny jokes. ChatGPT is just not funny. And the researchers really go down the rabbit hole trying to explain why that might be. Part of it is that it's designed to give you the most obvious answer. It's designed to not surprise you, and part of comedy is surprising. The other thing is that it's got these guardrails built into it so it doesn't offend anybody, and part of comedy, like it or leave it. Sometimes you got to push the envelope a little bit, and so those jokes just don't come to it. So if you're a funny person, you're worried about AI stealing your job, you're okay for now.
Yeah, if a punchline is too obvious, that really, there's got to be some sort of like, oh, I didn't see that coming. AI, I guess, certainly doesn't do that. Okay, that's good to hear for comedians. In the meantime, celebrities, where many people are obsessed with them, Dan, but could that make us better friends to the people we know in real life?
This is a really cool study where they test the idea that by having relationships with celebrities where you really know them, but they don't know you exist, it's called a parasocial relationship, that maybe it makes us more empathetic to the people we know in our lives. And this is based on the fact that, when you are obsessed with a fictional character like Harry Potter, it helps you build your empathy. People that read fiction have better empathy than people who don't read fiction. So maybe when you obsess about, Taylor Swift or whomever, or Elton John, you become more empathetic to your friends, and they do find some support for that. So it may be that that's a small factor in our obsession with celebrities, which really is a huge part of culture everywhere around the world.
Celebrities or basically like fictional characters too?
Exactly. So anytime you have a relationship where I know that character, I know them, I understand them like no one else, but they don't know you exist.
Right.
That is something that sets up. I'm like that with Tom York from Radiohead. I'm like that with Harry Potter under the cupboard, the poor kid. And those fictional or celebrity characters that I really have no attachment to, just focusing on those relationships does make me, according to this paper, a better husband to my wife, a better dad to my kids, and a better friend to my friends.
Well, that is fascinating. Okay, we appreciate you being a friend of the show here. That is Dan Riskin. He joins us every Monday morning. Of course, next Monday is a holiday, but we'll see you soon, Dan. Have a good one. Take care.
Sounds good. Yep, take care.
And you gotta love Jamaicans, man, because you sit home, you hear Nicole in Canada, and you hear that commercial come on, that commercial, come to Jamaica and he. As soon as you get to Jamaica, them people on the resort be like, I suggest you don't leave the compound. Like, why the f*** I can't see the rest of
That is a great punchline. Caribbean comedian Major Hype has landed in Canada and on CP24 Breakfast this morning. He's here for his overdue comedy tour. Here to make you laugh with his signature no-holds-barred humor.
Absolutely. Yes, I mean, welcome, Major Hype to CP24 Breakfast this morning. You are a funny man, and you wear many hats, not just the Santa Claus hat over there.
Yeah, right.
But for anyone who follows your social media, I mean, you're huge on TikTok. So I'm curious, you started in stand-up, obviously, and did you merge into the online stuff during the pandemic, or what was it?
I actually started on social media.
Did you really?
Yes.
That's,
yes.
wow.
The first person to ever literally book Major Hype as a comedian was the guy that's behind the camera right there, Wes.
Right.
He called me out of the blue and was like, I want to do a show with you in Canada. How much do you charge? And I didn't even know how much to charge. I think I probably told him like $300-400.
Okay.
And he was like, okay, I want 8 shows. And I was like, wow, I should have charged him some more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then,
Yeah.
you know, the fan base grew, and, you know, we just continued to do what we do.
So what were you doing before you were doing comedy? Like, how did this path take you here and get you to where you are
Well, I
right
went to school
now?
for electrical engineering.
Okay.
Wow.
I became an electrician for mass transit in New York City.
Okay.
And I did that for a while, got laid off, and started doing comedy.
Wow, what a different career path.
Yeah, that's
And
why
it's-
you never know what you're gonna be doing in the next 5 to 10 years, you know?
Right, no, that's amazing. And, you know, I just want to say props to you, because usually, you know, you go to Just for Laughs when it existed,
Right.
and they'd bring in social media stars to do stand-up, and it didn't always catch.
Right.
But when I saw you, your stage presence, obviously, over there, I was like, no, he's got to be from stand-up first and then started
Well,
doing the online stuff. So that's a hard transition to
Absolutely.
make.
That's what everybody was, you know, that's what everybody was thinking. Like,
Yeah.
all right, he's good on social media. Is he good on stage? And, you know,
And you're like, yeah.
I do this. Like, I've been doing this now. You know what I mean?
Wow.
I made it look good, but I really, you know, I did a lot of studying and stuff like that, studying the craft, watching all of the great comedians and just seeing, you know, how, you know, things go and stuff like that. And I just excelled in the field, you know.
And what about playing shows in Toronto? Because we have an amazing Caribbean community
Absolutely.
here. You know, Caribbean Carnival's coming up, you know, later, I guess, in 2 months from now. But what do you like about playing the Toronto audience, and what do you get from them?
Well, Toronto, to be honest, is my biggest market.
Really?
Yes. Toronto is so similar to New York culture as far as diversity and stuff like that. So once you make it in New York, I think it's not that much different to be in Toronto, as long as you know about Scarborough and G-Way and stuff like that, and Jane and Finch and all those places, and you can, you know, I mean, to me, comedy is more special when it's relatable. You know what I mean? So once you can relate to, you know, the people and, you know, what they know, and also being Caribbean, I think that for the most part, we all grow up in similar homes. No matter if you're in Canada, if you're in New York, wherever you are, we have similarities when it comes to being Caribbean.
Right. So with your overdue tour, the content, is it a lot of stuff translated from your online material and themes, or is it kind of like a completely different narrative? Like, what can people expect?
Somewhat.
Yeah.
I mean, when you come to a show, you come to a show, right? And of course, just like in music, you go to hear certain songs, right?
Right.
You go to hear your favorite songs and stuff like that. So I have those specific, you know, things that everybody knows me for, like characters and stuff like that. But I also like to get to the root of it. The things that we don't talk about on social media, we'll talk about it on stage. So, yeah, I do a lot of different things on, you know, relationship base, political base, all of that stuff, you know, Trump 2024 and stuff like that.
Look, there's fodder everywhere, isn't there?
Yeah,
There's
it's a
definitely
lot.
fodder everywhere. So when it comes to that, is your mind just constantly churning jokes, or is it you hear something, think something, and go, God, that's funny, I gotta like jot that down? What's your process?
I've never written a joke in my life. I've never written a sketch. I've never, you know, it's just things that I will hear. Like I'm here now, I'll just pick up things in Toronto and just, you know, bring it to the stage, and hopefully it works.
But you're not ad-libbing it.
Wow.
You're
But
just,
it's it's obviously you've memorized what you want to say, but you haven't actually written it out.
Yeah.
Wow, it's fascinating how different comedians work. Some people
the
need
last
to
person that I heard that did that was like Richard Pryor.
Wow.
Yeah, so I hope.
Pretty good company.
You're the next Richard Pryor. Okay, and Major, where can people catch you in Toronto? When are you playing? Where are you playing at?
So I'm going to be at the Pavilion.
Okay.
I think it's 2 shows. We're also going to Ottawa. We're going to Montreal.
Wow.
We set back the dates for Edmonton and Alberta and Vancouver and stuff like that for later dates.
Okay.
We're going to be all over Canada. You know, I might as well just turn in my passport.
That's amazing. I have one last question for you because it's just amazing. How long have you been doing this?
So I got laid off 13 years ago from mass transit. They called me back a week later to get back to work, and
you said no.
I went to work for a week, and I just felt like I was letting my fan base down, which was really like 3,000 people at the time.
Right, but still.
But now we're at 1.4 million. So I mean, you know.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so I've been doing it for like 13 years.
That's not a long time in comedy years. That's pretty remarkable. Remarkable, I should say.
A lot of the more seasoned comedians, they look at me and they're like, "Why am I opening for you? Like, who are you?" And then after I get off stage, they're like, "All right, cool."
That's
who you are. Listen, pleasure meeting you. Good luck.
Absolutely.
Stop by again sometime. Have a great
Absolutely.
time in Canada.
Check out Major
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Well, the abrupt shutdown Friday of the Ontario Science Centre is now bringing people together in an effort to keep the lights turned on and perhaps more importantly, the building open. And moments like this of Sabina Voramiller and her son, that's motivated her and her husband to put up $1 million to make the repairs to the roof and more. And Sabina Voramiller joins us now live in studio. It's nice to meet you in person. We talked a lot during the pandemic on CP24 tonight, but here we are in breakfast. The idea here to sort of put up this $1 million, where did this come from? And do you think it'll be accepted ultimately?
You know, honestly, I think on Friday, it came as a huge surprise to us that the Science Centre closed abruptly, and we tried to understand what was the reason for it. So we were right there last week, actually, with our son. And, you know, of course, we can see that there was repairs that needed to be done at the Science Centre, but it didn't look like it was that grave. So I tried to understand what the issues were, how much funding they actually required, and we realized to actually keep it open for the summer, given that, you know, we are right basically at the cusp of summer vacation for children. There's lots of programming happening at the centre this summer as well. We wanted to understand what would it take to keep the Science Centre open at least until the summer. And we realized actually the amount is minuscule, and that is absolutely something our foundation can support. And we do that already. We support a lot of STEM-related activities in the city, especially for underserved communities, and this is right up our alley.
So where does it go from here? You're sort of offering this money. Do you direct it towards the provincial government? Do you direct it towards the City of Toronto, the Science Centre? What's the process here that you hope to sort of get this ball rolling and keep it going?
Right, and I think the goal here is to start a conversation. The fact that we've had no conversation about the entirety of the Science Centre is problematic. There have been no public consultations, no stakeholder consultations, no transparency in really what the plan is. What is the justification for moving it? And also, there is no plan on the interim. What's happening for the next 4 to 5 years? Where do the children go? There is absolutely no other Science Centre that is available here for the kids of our city, and that's unacceptable for the next 4 to 5 years. So really my goal here is to start a conversation. Let's talk. Look, here's the thing. The city and its people, we are committed to the Science Centre. We want to help, so let us help. There's so many of us who are willing to help in so many different ways, not just financially, but many other ways as well. So talk to us, you know, and in fact, this entire thing has spurred several conversations with city officials. I know, you know, Councillor Josh Matlow will be speaking next Thursday to the council. I just want to start a dialogue, and I'm asking for Premier Ford, bring us into the conversation. I'm here to have a conversation with him on this.
Beyond sort of asking for, you know, conversations with Premier Ford, et cetera, and you mentioned Josh Matlow, the councillor, have there been any other philanthropists or people coming forward saying, hey, I'd like to get on board with this and sort of help financially as well?
Absolutely. The entire city is willing to help. There are several other philanthropists within our own Shopify, you know, network, but even beyond. In fact, I, you know, shared it with my followers on Unambiguous Science, and everyone said, we are happy to contribute. We are ready to crowdsource. outsource this. Like, let's do it. And so everyone's here. Everyone's committed. Everyone wants to see the Science Center live. Yeah. Let us help.
Sabina, I know you're a fan of science, but the Science Center in particular, what is it for you that makes it A, so important, and B, so special that you're willing to put up this kind of money?
That spark of science, that joy, where you actually are learning without even knowing you are learning, is absolutely phenomenal. Seeing my own son, seeing science through his eyes. He's 7 years old, and we went to check out the Van de Graaff generator last week. And he was just absolutely mesmerized. And, you know, through that, we had conversations on static electricity. He didn't even realize he's sitting here and actually absorbing science and learning. We need that, especially in, you know, today's times when there is so much, you know, there's a war against science, there's hostility against science. We need to bring science up, the love of science up, especially in our children. This is the years when all of this is so much more meaningful and impactful on them. And we can't let the Science Center shut down for the next few years. It's just absolutely not acceptable.
What if that happens? What if this can't be saved? What do you do?
I am not going to take that as an answer. That is simply not an answer.
Okay. Sabina Voda-Miller, always appreciate the time. Thanks for this conversation this morning, and good luck with your initiative there.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, absolutely.
I'm about to go, feeling like I can fly you where you want. Nothing like you and I. You're in control. How do you hypnotize me?
Okay, those are just some of the sweet sounds from Sean Hook's Magic, released this past May, but more music is coming out. A year removed from fighting and conquering cancer, Sean Hook is back with a new EP, Beauty in Surrender, and a renewed look on life and music as well. So we'd like to welcome back to CP24, live in the flesh this time, Sean Hook. Sean, so great to have you with us this morning.
So great to be back.
It's awesome. You know, we spoke to you virtually in 2022, and since then, a whole lot has happened. You were diagnosed with throat cancer in April of 2023. You recovered, thank God, and then you got engaged. And now you've got 6 new tracks. I mean, 2 have been released, but the EP is called Beauty in Surrender. Why is surrender your motto now?
Yeah, well, you hit on my cancer diagnosis last year. I was in the middle of a tour, and I started feeling a little tired, not feeling myself. Went to my doctor, and I had a bump on my neck, and that's why I went in. And it turns out I had 5 tumors in my neck.
Wow.
And they had to perform 2 surgeries to cut out the tumors in my neck and also my tonsils. My cancer was actually my tonsil. And so that, as a singer, it was very concerning, but also just living life, you know, how do I get rid of cancer? And so I had to go to the BC Cancer Agency, and thankfully I had some incredible doctors. I had a great successful surgery, chemotherapy and radiation. And as of August last year, I was in remission.
Oh my gosh, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
That's
thank
amazing.
You. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, I was like, you know what? My fiance was so amazing during that time for me, and my girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
And I as soon as I got the good news, I bought the ring, and I was like, you know what? We got to turn the energy around here. Like, I got a second chance at life.
Yeah.
And then it was like, can I sing again? And that was kind of, I wasn't sure. And so I put in a lot of work, worked with a lot of, like with my speech pathologist, and did vocal training. And then I got back in the studio, and things started to come naturally, and I found this new source of inspiration, and that's kind of what made up Beauty and Surrender. And surrender was like, I had to surrender, you know, when you're faced with like a cancer diagnosis and all these uncertainties, you kind of have to let go. Yeah,
and letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means just like not fighting what is present with you in the moment. Yeah. Not like just, you know, I don't know how to put it exactly. I think you encapsulate it so beautifully. But you have fought back with new music. So talk about the inspiration behind, you know, some of the latest tracks that we're going to hear June 28th, because we're going to listen to 4 new tracks. I had to listen, though, a sneak peek to Winter Jacket.
Nice.
So Canadian. What was the inspiration behind that one?
Yeah, so I actually wrote that with, I co-wrote it with Nolan Sipe, and there's an artist named Benson Boone, and Nolan's written a lot with him, and I heard one of Benson's songs. It's like, oh, I love that record, and I called up Nolan, like, hey, are you free? And he was like, yeah. So we ended up writing this song called Winter Jacket, just about actually when my fiance came to visit me in Vancouver for the first time, and and then when she left, feeling like, oh, like, come back, because at that time we were just dating. She went back to LA, and I was like, you know what? If you're cold, I'll put my arms around you and I'll be your winter jacket. The lyrics in that record I'm really proud of. It's a really sweet anecdote. And,
it really is.
It's a fun song though. It's like an up-tempo.
It is, yeah. And even Magic, the one that was recently released, like it's got that like, okay, I'm ready, I'm chill, I'm going out. Like I was dancing to it this morning, putting on my makeup. Like all your songs are so danceable, but I was saying like sometimes people release a ton of tracks and you're like, one's a filler. But all of them, like where do you just have an ear for knowing what songs work? Because every single song you've released has been just so easy to listen to and just likable.
Wow, I appreciate you saying that.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of work. Like behind the 6 songs that are out, there's probably like, I don't know, 80 or 90 that didn't make it. So it's a lot of, going through feels and vibes. And when you put a record together, I try to find like something that has the right dynamics and complements each other. And there's a lot of other writers and producers that collaborate, that go into those sounds. And so thankfully I've been doing this for a while now, so I have a pretty good network of collaborators. And yeah, then it's just, hopefully people can relate to the music. And
yeah, oh my gosh. And do you think that you're going to be getting up on the stage sometime later this year or next year?
Hopefully, yeah. My voice is, honestly, it feels better. Like when I had a swollen tonsil, I didn't really know, and my voice was actually more airy. And now it just feels more full. So in a way, it's an improvement.
Yeah, I bet you feel like you have like this kind of new lease on life.
Yeah.
And this, I can't believe what you went through, but I'm so glad that the cancer's in remission and you're creating new music, because that is a gift to all of us listeners. Sean Hook, thanks for joining us. Can't wait for people to listen to Beauty in Surrender, June 28th.
Thanks, Jennifer. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming in, Sean.
My pleasure.
Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll be back with more breakfast and listen to Sean's music.
A busy weekend in store this Canada Day weekend at the Rogers Centre as the summer holidays officially begin. And the Jays will be kicking off a homestand against the New York Yankees with some really neat stuff. Joining us now is Jess Wood with Toronto Blue Jays. Thanks for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me.
You know I love baseball.
I do.
And I'm always excited on a nice homestand. You get a lot of opportunities to catch the Jays, but this time it's pretty special. You have 5 theme nights, 3 giveaway nights, so a little something for everyone.
Exactly.
Tell me a little bit about how things are kicking off with this homestand with the Canada Day long weekend.
So yeah, we kick off tomorrow against the Yankees. We have our first ever salsa night that we're doing at the ballpark, which is super fun and exciting, really leaning into the Latin culture. Music, food, good energy, colors, all that. And first 15,000 fans will get a chip and dip bowl.
Oh, that's what we have right here in front of us.
Yes.
I'm gonna just hold it up for you because it's really quite cute.
Perfect
you
for the
can have
long
your
weekend.
own salsa fest
Exactly.
at home.
Exactly.
Perfect. And then we have the City Connect, which I have a jersey. It's absolutely beautiful.
I'm glad you support it. Yeah, it's still available at J Shop, so encouraging our fans to get down. We have 2 wear dates this homestand, the 28th and the 3rd. So get there, experience night mode in person.
I love it. And then we have the Junior Jays Sunday. Tell me about that.
So Junior Jays, it's one of the best days that we have every Sunday, and it's our outdoor program. So this is the second one of the season. Kids have the opportunity to get there nice and early, get on the inflatables, check out our artists. We've got a ton of great performers outside, and of course run the bases following the game. So energy from start to finish.
Right. You won't let me into the inflatables, though. You know.
No, I'm going to keep an eye out for you.
I won't try to crowd the field. And then you got Canada Day celebrations. A really cool hat here.
Yeah, this is paying ode to the Canadian tuxedo, ever loving by our fans. So a great hat. There's still tickets available for Canada Day. What's really special this year is that we're celebrating the centennial of the Canadian Air Force. So you'll see that throughout the ceremony. We also have the Air Force Band performing pregame and in-game. So that'll be awesome to keep our fans entertained with some Canadian classics.
Very proud of our Canadian team. And then we have Looney. Oh, who doesn't love Looney Dog Tuesdays? Right?
I know. It is
How
really.
many can you eat? Are you going to share?
My limit's 2.5.
Oh, okay. Fair.
Yeah. I tried to get one on each level, and I stop at 2.5.
You're smarter.
Yes.
Portion control for me. I love my Looney Dog Tuesdays. Yeah, no, it's a great night. And then we've got Kevin Gosman. He's such a character. I love watching him on the field, his delivery, his expression. And the gum throwing. Tell me about that.
The gum throwing. So you would have seen it in the game last night, but as he finishes an inning, he walks off the mound, tosses the gum to his side, and obviously the pile doesn't actually look what the bobblehead looks like, but this is just a little cheeky play on that tradition that he has. So excited for fans to come out and experience that. First 15,000 on Wednesday.
Yeah, so get there early on Wednesday.
Get there early.
They're very collectible. People love getting these.
They do. People have walls, and we want to indulge in that habit for people, the collectors.
Sure. You got to buy your own gum, though.
Not included.
And then Camp Day. Camp Day is very popular.
Camp Day. So we finish on Thursday, July 4th, Camp Day. It's really school's out this week, so we're just riding that wave of kicking off the summer. Bring your camp, bring your office, bring whoever you want to the ballpark on Thursday. Still limited tickets available, but great afternoon baseball.
And if you haven't been this year, I mean, I love what y'all did with Outfield District, just change the fan experience, but you've also done this really get much closer to the field for fans.
The sight lines are completely different, so if you haven't been out, it's a great opportunity.
All right, I love it. And we were talking about the giveaway, so here it is. And now, to enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets to see the Jays on the New York Yankees on Friday, playing the New York Yankees, send your name, phone number, and email to contest@cp24.com, along with your answer to this question: who is your favorite Blue Jays player? That's a pretty easy question. There's so many you could choose from because they're all great. Just send those in to contest@cp24.com and you could win two tickets to that game. I want them, but you can win them. Thank you so much for being here and getting us all excited for this 8-game homestand.